these songs was my mother, Jackson says. I told her, some of my movements are very sexy. I'd be embarrassed if you were there. Well, she might have been able to hide her shame temporarily from her mom, but not from God, as Jesus noted when he declared, "You are those who justify yourselves before men, but God knows your hearts. For what is highly esteemed among men is an abomination in the sight of God." Number 3, rebellion is fundamentally occultic. We saw earlier that rebellion in God's sight is as the sin of witchcraft. God's wisdom in defining rebellion in this way makes perfect sense when one understands the basic difference between the Judeo-Christian cosmology and the one generally embraced by the occult and Eastern traditions. The difference can be summed up by contrasting two words: cosmos versus chaos. The Greek word cosmos, a word that is front and center throughout the New Testament as well as in the Greek translation of the Old, carries within it the suggestion of order and harmony. In a nutshell, the Bible presents a universe, a cosmos, created by God out of nothing and infused with a symmetry that literally, we now know, defies our comprehension in both its complexity and beauty. Guided by God's superintending hand, the pinnacle of this cosmos was and is this planet with its inhabitants. And it's here where an interesting distinction is made. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep. Earth's initial formlessness or unfurnished state is quite different from the tailored order that the word cosmos suggests. But God wasn't done yet, as step by step the divine paradigm began to unfold. The Almighty spoke, and light divided darkness. Land came from the sea, life from inanimate matter, etc. The earth was beautifully furnished, and the stage set for the drama of human existence. After creating man in his own image, God took an area of land bounded by water and fashioned Eden, an incubator of sorts as well as a pattern for future expansion. This garden was adorned with everything man needed as he was prepared for the task at hand, to be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it. In other words, to make it all as ordered, as beautifully furnished as the garden paradise that was home. Well, most of us know what happened next. Man blew it, and paradise was lost. But that's not the end of the story. The Bible's essential message is the account of God's elaborate and awesomely sacrificial efforts to redeem mankind while remaining true to himself and his righteous standards of justice. And so, through the cross, we were ransomed from the penalty of sin and re-empowered, divinely enabled to get the original job done, to go into all the world and fill it with His glory, to disciple individuals and ultimately nations, to bring life from death, light to darkness, ever increasing order and harmony from the chaos of sin and destruction. The occult world, on the other hand, in this as well as in most everything else, seeks to reverse the divine order. Rather than God, chaos or emptiness is seen as the ultimate ground of being, and the material world is viewed as either illusory, Maya in the Hindu lexicon, or as in the Gnostic tradition, fallen from the true realm of the Spirit. Amid this quantum cloud of uncertainty, God and His will become either unknowable or subject to the whims of human imagination. Man is born to do what he wills, and chaos has become his midwife.
All creation begins in chaos, progresses in chaos, and ends in chaos.
The phenomenon of being is this self-synergizing engine of out of chaos, through creativity, into the imagination, back into chaos, out into creativity, so forth and so on.
See, quantum physics gave us the real term to describe what happens when you take a powerful psychedelic plant or drug. Chaos. I like the idea of surfing the waves of chaos.
I'm surfing the chaos, riding the wave in my mind. We're confused. I'm so fucking confused, man. It's all chaos. Please, man, I'm surfing the chaos. Like, roll, baby, roll.
You definitely generate an atmosphere or a mood which might be characterized as rebellion, chaos, disorder, and activity that appears to have no meaning.
They have figured out the formula for chaos. Chaos is a beautiful thing.
And so the clear line between light and darkness, life and death, meaning and meaninglessness presents itself. On the one hand, a cosmos created and sustained by the Almighty, suffused with design and meaning. And our purpose in this cosmos? Well, to love God and submit to His will, to glorify and enjoy the Lord, to grow in grace and become more and more like Him in our character and in the way we think, and then to furnish the void, to, in a sense, colonize the chaos, bringing God's order where there's disorder, discovering and cherishing all that is true, good, and beautiful.
And then, on the other hand, there's the embrace of chaos and a descent into the void. For those with the epistemological integrity to embrace the fullness of this horror, well, as more than one rock and roll icon has stated,
nothing is true, everything is permitted.
Nothing is true, everything is permitted.
Because nothing's true, everything's permitted.
and this is why rebellion is a form of occultism. God's order and rule, His cosmos, is rejected. People begin to worship, to derive meaning from the creation rather than the Creator, the very foundation of witchcraft. People rebel, concoct their own so-called truths, make up their own rules. They begin to do what they want. Most dabble in their defiance, afraid to fully embrace the horror of this nothing's true, everything's permitted worldview. But dabbling with rebellion is like dabbling with theft. You may just be stealing candy, but you're still a thief. Just so, anytime we choose our will over God's, chaos over cosmos, we are rebels and moving in precisely the wrong direction. Jesus understood this as He described the spiritual war to which all of His followers have been called, and then warned what it would take to plunder the kingdom of darkness rather than be plundered by it. He that is not with me is against me, and he who does not gather with me, who does not make a conscious effort to press into Christ, scatters. Everywhere in today's music and popular culture, people are scattering, allowing spiritual entropy to drag them into the void. Artists proudly admit that they don't write real songs, they produce chaos. Decay, ugliness, death, dissonance, pain, darkness, despair, and meaninglessness abound in popular culture.